Back here on First Things First with Greg Jennings. We're going viral. Earlier in the show, we saw this picture of Tom Brady and his wife, Giselle, at the Met Gala last night. CeCe mentioned how much different Tom looks these days, so we put them side by side and check this out. Who would have thought?
That's from Brady's rookie year. Man.
Look at his hair, like just
everything about it.
It's a little, he got a little baby fat in his face.
Is that the old can't hide money, CeCe?
Hey, it's something.
It's cool, Tom. We all look like something when we first enter the league, and then on the back end, we kind of spruce it up a little bit.
Well, all right, so hold up. Before the end of the show, can we get Greg Jennings entering the league side by side with Greg Jennings?
I bet you look exactly the same.
I don't know. I mean, my clothes were baggy. And, you know,
No, we had to dust that Texas off of him and bring him into the league. No.
Refined?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But Brady, I mean, this is 20 years ago. Brady looks younger now.
Yeah, he's got some new cheeks. Like, he got new eyes. Yeah, he's got some. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They say LeBron spends $1 million a year on his body. You're saying Brady spends similar
Let me tell you
on his face?
He met Giselle when he was looking like that. She don't remember. She just kept right on going. He kept on going. Call me when you grow up. And when you got some money.
Good for Tom.
And he did.
Yeah, he did.
It has been a busy offseason for the Dallas Cowboys. Not busy trying to get new guys up to speed, but busy trying to get new guys. Their offense will look a little different this year after some big changes in the last couple of weeks. No Des Bryant, no Jason Witten. Cowboys CEO Stephen Jones knows it. Take a listen.
Jason and Des, Tony, you know, they've been kind of synonymous with these Cowboys the last 10 years, so I understand that. At the same time, we've got a lot of great young players who are coming with Zeke and Dak and, you know, our offensive line and, you know, a lot of young guys to point to now. So, you know, I don't really look at it as a transition as much as I do just resetting.
Greg, do the Cowboys have enough talent on this team as it is right now to compete for a Super Bowl?
I don't think so. And the reason why I say I don't think so is when we look at what they do best, which is run the ball. They were 6-4 with Ezekiel Elliott in the lineup. Now, some will say that's just over 500. He missed, obviously, the games. But for me, I look at what they have to go up against. Just in the NFC, you got the Green Bay Packers who are going to get Aaron Rodgers back. You got the Minnesota Vikings.
Who added Kirk Cousins.
Who added Kirk Cousins. Then in your own division, you have the Super Bowl champs and the Eagles that you got to climb that mountain. Are the Giants going to be that bad again?
Right.
The likelihood of that? No. And then you got the NFC South. Like, you have New Orleans, Carolina,
Atlanta, like Seattle, San Francisco, Los Angeles.
You got so many good teams that are trending up. I don't see the Cowboys trending up. They haven't made a lot of moves this offseason that lead me to believe that they're going to win more than 9 games this year.
Yeah, Stephen Jones, he mentions Tony Romo, now a broadcaster, Witten, now a broadcaster, Des, unemployed. Because they've left, like, oh, now does Dallas have Super Bowl aspirations? Well, my thing is, I think they've been living in fantasy land the last 5 years. They played 80 games. They've won 46 of those games, lost 34. I would say they have not fielded a Super Bowl caliber team in the last 5 years. So it's a legitimate question that you ask Jenna. Are they Super Bowl caliber? No, they're not, and they haven't been the last 5 years.
And that you mentioned 46 and 34 in the last 5 years. I know it's not fair to do this, but if you remove the 1 year, the magical year, that drops to 33 and 31. That drops to right at a 500 football.
Yeah, so even for the Dallas fans, they'd be like, well, you got to give us credit for that year, the rookie year. Okay, I'll give you credit. Now, I didn't think they could win the Super Bowl with a rookie quarterback and a rookie star tailback. So, no, I don't think they're a championship team. Can they compete for the division? I do believe. Can they compete for a wild card? I do believe that. But I'm still concerned about their passing game. I'm still concerned about how good they're going to be on defense. Now, if it was me, I would just be a heavy, dominant running team and a play-action pass team. That's what I would do, because you can affect the defense with that play-action passing with it plays to your strong suit. They're a dominant offensive line, and Ezekiel Elliott is a special football player.
Ezekiel Elliott, and I don't think we talk about him a lot, and we give quarterbacks a ton of credit, but when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys, they go as Ezekiel Elliott goes, not as Dak Prescott goes. That has been proven. Now, what needs to change is that.
Right.
They can't go as Ezekiel Elliott goes. They have to go as Dak Prescott. He has to take a huge leap. Now, we understand the sophomore slump. It's a thing in the NFL. Go ahead, Jenna.
But when you say he has to take a huge leap, I know we keep saying that. This is year 3. He has to take a huge. Who's he throwing the ball to? Like, where's his comfort level? Where are the guys that he knows that if the throw isn't spot on, they're going to get there no matter what? I just don't know what he's got this year.
You don't know. I don't know. They
don't know.
I mean, this is a question that they have to answer. And if we were to ask Dak Prescott, he would sit here and give us the politically correct answer and say, we got some really good receivers in the room. I think we're going to have a great camaraderie, a great rapport, great chemistry. That's all great. But is the production, is it going to translate to wins? Is it going to translate to positive production offensively and in the passing game?
And to me, they don't have a dominant enough defense to be able to be
built that way.
To be built that way. Mm-hmm. If you are going to be built the way of, we're going to bust you in the mouth with the running game, we're going to win time of possession, we're going to maul you up front, you need to have an outstanding defense. If you just have a middle-of-the-pack defense, you've got to mix in some explosive plays. You've got to mix in some 3-play, 75-yard drives, because there was a 52-yard pass completion mixed in there. And that's where I don't see it from them on the skill position guys, but also on the quarterback. There's 16 starting quarterbacks in the NFC. There are only 2 that I can definitively say Dak's better than. Mitch Trubisky and Sam Bradford. That's the list. There are 7 I can say are definitively better than Dak. Wentz, Rodgers, Breeze, Matt Ryan, Russell Wilson, Kirk Cousins, Cam Newton. So if your ceiling is 8th and your basement is 14th, well, then your defense isn't good enough. Unless I'm wrong about Dak. Unless Dak can get into that upper echelon.
Not only with the quarterback count and how many good quarterbacks we have in the NFC, take you to the wide receiving group, include the tight end. Now, I would be challenged to pick 3 teams in the NFC of the 16 teams that have a worse receiving group than the Dallas Cowboys. So now you're talking about, wow, how good is their quarterback? Where is he on the pecking order as far as, and then now you look at the weapons that the quarterback is throwing to, Greg. That's why I believe that keeps them from being a championship team. This is not an NFL that you can hide your quarterback and not make explosive plays on your offense and try to win your Super Bowl.
Yeah, and we've talked about the lack of receiver play when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys, and even Dez Bryant being a hindrance from the lack of route running for a young quarterback, a young Dak Prescott. But let's not just throw everything off of Dak. Like, he has to improve. He has to become more accurate.
Everything wasn't Dez's fault.
No,
yeah, the quarterback was responsible too.
Absolutely. And so I need to see that rookie mentality, that leadership that he was able to show, that poise that he was. I didn't see that in year 2. I need to see that, and then I need to see more, because now the weight is on you. There, you don't have Dez. You don't have the excuse of, well, I need a route run. I need somebody that's going to create separation. You don't have Witten for a safety blanket any longer. Yeah. It has to be you.
I think, Greg, we can argue that this is the most pressure that Dak has been under. You know, the rookie year, oh, man, he was under that rookie halo. Tailbacks playing great. Offensive line was playing tremendous. Tony Romo is even a safety blanket that they want to go to.
Yep.
Now, without Romo, without Witten, without Dez, I would say this is the most critical year of Dak's career.
Nick, one of the guys that we haven't mentioned yet is Jason Garrett. How much is going to now fall on him to make this work? This is basically the players, the team he's got. I mean, how much falls on him now?
Listen, Jason Garrett, I think, has gotten maybe overly criticized because of the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. But I don't look at Jason Garrett as like some Sean Payton difference maker. I think Jason Garrett's going to coach as well as his players play. And I know that sounds almost like I don't think he's going to be a hindrance to them. I don't think Jason Garrett's going to be some anvil around their neck, but I don't think Jason Garrett's going to design an offense or do something to where they're all of a sudden playing above their skis.
Jenna, this is the reason why Jason Garrett becomes a huge question, and we talked about this. They've made these changes as far as personnel, but before they changed personnel, Jerry Jones changed the coaching staff. So now they've changed the coaching staff, Jenna. It becomes he becomes the spotlight because you can only change so many players, you can only change so many coaches, then ultimately you're going to fire the head coach. So it will be on the board. If Dallas gets off to a slow start, Jason Garrett's head will be on the cutting block for a coach. I would say he would be one of the top 5 people that you would be looking at. Now, right or wrong, we'll be going into the season as, man, do they replace him?
On the hot seat.
Yes. If we look across the league, I don't care what arena, basketball, you don't get this amount of time to show your worth and produce wins. Jason Garrett has had, what, 8 seasons? Like, I need to see it. Like, and
no playoff success.
We have not seen it.
Well, the playoff success, I'll be very quick here. When you and I first met each other was when the Cowboys were in their 13-3 season. When they lost that playoff game to Green Bay, you were adamant about what a missed opportunity that is as the 1 seed, as an opportunity with these guys playing as well as they could play in Dak and Zeke because you thought they'd regress the next year. Didn't even know at the time Zeke was going to miss 40% of the season. Now, all of a sudden, we're going into year 3 of it. 0 playoff wins. And it's not to say they can't win a playoff game this year or be great this year, but that is what's on the board for them. And that's scary for them given how awesome this mini era started for them.
Greg, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Great job as always. Coming up here on the show are the Cavs championship contenders after sweeping the Toronto Raptors. Next on First Things First.
Just sip my tea.
Tea?
No, Jenna, that's...
Time to go.
Alexa, start my Infiniti QX50.
We're not going to make it. Saving the day once again.